Today we're going to talk about how this man, being born by his mother when his mother was 13 years old.
Originally, I was charged with first-degree murder, and that's the point where I thought my life was over. I had to man the fuck up, stop making excuses, and walk through the door that God opened. Back then, I thought I was a fucking thug, man. Like, looking back I'm like, man, you were a fucking dumbass. I'm trying to be that guy to everyone else. That's the night that changed the trajectory of my life forever. It was a very unfortunate tragedy, shot and killed a man.
Oh, bro, you go to jail for murder.
The night that it happened, I panicked and basically told everyone there, like, keep your mouth shut, and wiped the apartment down.
Whoa.
Left, and for 2 years, the police thought it was a suicide.
I mean, let's just jump to it because you have turned into a multimillionaire. Hey, welcome to the Chad Peterson Show. Listen, I have a very special guest for you today. And why is he a special guest? Well, guys, everybody needs an excuse. Have you ever noticed that? How many people do you know, maybe even including you, I don't want to single you out, but maybe even you, that need an excuse? They rely on the excuse, and they're going to talk about what happened to them when they were young, and somehow, some way, they always come to the conclusion that because that happened to them, that today they can't be the person that they want to be because of that thing that happened a long time ago. And today we're going to talk about how this man went from being born by his mother when his mother was 13 years old, from being in the penitentiary, from going from the penitentiary to addiction, from being locked up again, to having nothing going for him in his life and still coming out on top. But what we're not going to do is talk about how he did it. We're going to talk about why he did it and what drove him to do it. Welcome, David Saylor, to the show. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you, brother. That was an epic intro.
Well, man, listen, let's just cut through it and let's get right to it, dude. I mean, listen, you were born by your mother at when she was 13 years old.
Yeah, she got pregnant at 13, had me at 14. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, so you're 13 years old, or she's 13 years old, and you're born. That's a child raising a child, man.
Right. Amen.
And tell us a little bit about that story. I mean, your mom being pregnant at 13. That's actually not that crazy. She could obviously reproduce at 13 years old. Right. So it's not from a biological standpoint, but cultural standpoint, that's pretty wild. So how'd she get pregnant? Well, we know how, but how'd she get pregnant at 13 years old? Why did she get pregnant at 13 years old? Was she addicted as well?
At 13, she wasn't, but she grew up in a volatile, abusive, alcoholic, drug addiction household that obviously, led her down the path of even having intercourse at 13. My dad was maybe 18 and left her, so she ended up pregnant at 13.
Your old man was 18 years old. Your mom was 13 years old.
18. I'm not certain.
And he got her pregnant. Mm-hmm. And back in those days, I mean, what? He just vanished? No accountability?
Yeah, just dipped out.
Could you imagine that shit happening today?
Oh, man.
Right?
When he got out of prison, he would have first that's the number one problem. It's like, 18-year-old with a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And then he'd have a child support bill racked the F up. But, yeah, I mean.
We can say fuck on this show.
Oh, yeah. Man, yeah. I'm trying my best. My last name is Saylor, so I've always used that as an excuse to cuss like a fucking sailor.
What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't know, man.
There's nothing wrong. Nobody can tell you that there's wrong with using a word. Like they say it's against God, right? But if you say fuck, what does that word mean in German? What does it mean in
you're right.
Chinese? What does it mean? It's just, dude, it's just language,
It's just
man.
another word.
Yeah.
It's just like getting angry and saying, oh, dang it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, Jesus never knew English.
Well,
so fuck it.
Well, fuck it then. Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, man. So your mom has you at 13 years old, and you had a life of hell, dude. You had to, right? And so you have turned your pain into your purpose. And by the way, not to tell your story for you, but I mean, let's just jump to it because you have turned into a multimillionaire, and you came from nothing, and now you own various businesses in the nootropics world that blend into also some bad habits too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm already seeing, man,
That's right.
that you had addictions.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how can we make these habits more healthy?
That's right.
Yeah.
you're
All
the
right. So
fir-
tell us.
you're the first person to pick up on that, man.
Okay.
I mean, the whole reason I developed this product was because I wanted that feeling. I wanted to feel something like, because the whole reason I started using drugs was, is what I think is like, like to numb the pain or thoughts, but also like speed was what I thought was giving me an edge. Now I know now at 47 years old that that's not true, but I wanted something that people could use and not feel guilty, not have to worry about tearing their body up. So I set out on a mission, and over the course of 5 years, I experimented with different ingredients from, I'd say hundreds of ingredients, and then making different blends and until we got it just right. But yes, the pouch is my way today of getting that little boost and that that edge.
All right. So show me the pouches. Would you just hand them to me? Hand them to me. All right, so here's these pouches, right? So typically this is something like a Zen, right? Would it be comparable?
But nicotine free.
Yeah. But people would be like, automatically be like, well, why would I do this? Because obviously people use Zen pouches because they want the nicotine.
That's right.
Right? But how you've gotten around that is that there's not nicotine in it. You're using a natural plant that's from
Amazon.
It's called guarana.
Guarana.
And it has naturally occurring caffeine in it.
Natural caffeine.
So this can be sold anywhere in the country without having the caffeine license or whatever that would be, right?
Well, most energy drinks and caffeine products, it's from synthetic caffeine. This is all natural, Mother Nature. And the unique thing about guarana is that it's slow releases in your body. So it's not like hitting you all at once, It's a gradual boost of energy, but combined with the other ingredients, you start feeling it pretty quick.
So not only does it have the natural occurring caffeine in it from the guarana, but then you're putting other things in it like L-theanine.
Yeah, we got L-theanine.
Which is calming. L-theanine is calming.
It's calming.
And then you've got
Rhodiola rosea, which is an adaptogen to help the body deal with stress. Any hustler, entrepreneur, hell, blue collar worker, people always say, well, you got to stop doing so much or take some stress out of your life. As men, we know we're never going to do that. So rather than try to eliminate the stress, I put an ingredient in here to help your body deal with stress.
Dude, amen, man. Amen to that. You just said that's a truth bomb right there, bro.
Yeah.
Like people say to us men, like, don't work so hard. Don't put so much on you.
That's right.
Work less. You're
That's
like,
right.
And you know what you do? You hear it in one ear and it's right out the other.
Yeah.
You're not even going to listen to it.
No,
you're not going to argue. You're not going to justify
right.
your position. You're just going to be like, yeah, sounds nice, but I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And so you decided, because you had addiction and you had habits.
Right.
And this is what people don't understand about entrepreneurs, man. I wish they did. Like, entrepreneurs are not good business people typically. They're just people that were in pain and they found a purpose. And so I'm seeing it, like you said, that I'm the first person that's picked up on this, quickly. You had habits and you're like, man, let's make this healthy, right?
That's right.
So you've got nootropics in here. You've got naturally occurring caffeine from a plant.
Yeah.
And then what most people don't understand is that B12, if you can absorb it properly, can give you more sustainable energy than almost anything in the planet. But most people cannot absorb it. So tell us about that.
So because of that fact, we used the active version of B12, which is called methylcobalamin, and that vitamin helps your body turn food into energy. And so, like you said, it's
it's a methylated form of B vitamins.
That's right.
And the other one is what is it? Cyanobalamin. It's basically cyanide. There's a cyanide in it,
something like that.
And so most vitamins that are the cheap vitamins, they don't have the methylated vitamins in them.
Right.
And so you've got methylated B12 in here, which is, by the way, 44% of the population roughly has a gene mutation that prevents them from absorbing it, right? You already know that.
Yeah.
But you've bypassed that, so you're like, hey, even if you have the gene mutation, B12 in here
That's right.
will bring you the energy.
Yeah.
So, but you're creating energy that's balanced. That's what you're doing with this.
That's right.
Not a jolt.
That's right. Well, the idea behind this product was to help your body do what it's already good at. Instead of dumping synthetics or illegal substances into your body, we've developed a formula that is literally helping your body in different areas do what it's best at. B12 helps your body turn food into energy. I put ginseng in here, which is a natural motivation, natural motivator. It's a
so ginseng would probably affect dopamine, is what I would guess.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. So that's awesome. So guys, by the way, tell the audience how to get a hold of you.
David Lee Saylor everywhere.
David Lee Saylor. That's Saylor.
Yes,
by
sir.
the way, David Lee Saylor. Probably find him on Instagram. But man, listen, let's talk about your story because that's what people want to hear. But by the way, guys, his pouches are called Motion Limitless pouches, and I'm holding these ones right here. They're blue raspberry pouches, 20 in a can. Vitamins, nootropics, naturally occurring caffeine, vitamins that actually get absorbed, sustainable energy without the jitters, something that's going to be steady energy all day long, a healthy habit, if you can imagine that.
That's right.
But man, tell us about your story, dude, because holy shit, bro, your mom has you at 13 years old. Your dad was gone. I probably wasn't there at 18 years old. Your dad, couldn't be much of a dad. You probably had several stepdads, I assume?
Not official stepdads, but mom, a lot of men in and out of my mom's life.
But that affects you on a level of not having a steady dad. But if you were a female, what do you think that would have done to you, having a bunch of men in and out? Probably didn't screw you up as bad, right?
No, I think it's way worse for girls.
Yeah.
Girls, they then go seek men's attention and start sleeping around, which I'm guessing is, what my mom went through. Her dad wasn't really a solid father figure. He was an alcoholic. He was abusive towards my grandma. So, at 14, she has me. She's terrified. At one point, she tried to have me aborted. Luckily, it failed. So that was kind of like the first thing that, I wasn't even supposed to. I truly wasn't supposed to be here, because if the abortion would have worked, no more David Saylor.
Did your mom? I don't mean in a intrinsic motherly love, but did your mom really love you? Did she love on you? Did she give you love? Did she give you support?
No, what she did was, on birthdays and Christmases and Thanksgiving, she always tried to have, she always tried to make sure I had something. So she did great at that. But, she was busy, working and also dealing with her own addictions, drug, alcohol.
If you're a woman and you have a baby at 13 years old, you're trying to figure out how to pay the bills, be a mom, make sure you have what you need.
Right.
She's stressed out. She's a child. She doesn't have the ability to manage all that.
Right.
So what did that look like for you, bro? Were you raised in poverty?
Yeah. She always had a job. Let me take that back a little bit. When we were living in Ohio, it was pretty rough. But we moved to Florida when I was around probably 9 or 10 years old. She cleaned up for, 6 or 8 months, maybe a year.
Cleaned up from what?
Drugs and alcohol.
What drugs?
Cocaine, crack, and then
Oh, man, what's the allure of crack, man? What a nasty, nasty drug. I mean, I've done cocaine. I mean, I used to like cocaine before it got dangerous.
I know, right?
But crack, I mean, what the hell? I mean, I think crack destroyed the country.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think when crack came in and now fentanyl, I think those are the two. That's the two-punch combo that really destroyed the cities of this country.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so cocaine, crack, and so did you end up getting addicted to cocaine?
So so I started selling drugs by like 12 years old. I started selling weed. By 15, I was selling crack, and then shortly thereafter, I was doing cocaine pretty consistently.
So you were selling it to make money,
and
you weren't doing it, and then you started doing it.
Then I started doing it. Yeah.
It's hard to be around it and not do it.
That's right. And then, you know, at 15, maybe 16, I got my own place. My wife, which I'm, you know, from 50, you know, we started dating when we were 15 years old, and here we are 31 years later, still together. But yeah, we got our own place at 15, 16 years old. And yeah, I was selling drugs, you know, doing drugs secretively.
Man. So in a world of instant information, in a world where you can chat GPT anything, because that's what we do now as a society, like Google or chat GPT, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Right. So we have all the information on how to do, on the how, on everything, right? So what I try not to do on this show is talk about the how, because dude, you can chat GPT that.
Yeah.
You can Google that shit, right? But what was your why, man? Why did you do all this? Because now you're a multimillionaire. Most people have a hard time figuring out how to get a job in your situation.
Right.
Like if you're born from a mother when your mother's 13 years old and she's a child raising you, the odds of you being anything are like less than 0.01%.
That's right.
Right? Like, I know you went to jail, you were incarcerated, but for you to end up becoming who you are today, the odds are tremendously against you.
Right.
So that's number one. And then number two, you have a wife for 31 years now during all of that shit.
That's right.
That's almost impossible, man. That's literally in the realm of impossibility. Mm-hmm. So what was your why? And tell us about that, man, because it's not about the how. It's not a 10-step program to get out of that shit. No. Like, what was your why and what kept you on it?
Yeah. I mean, bro, that's brilliant, because like the how is like, I just fucking got up and got after it. You know, it's not like there's a manual on how to become successful. It's just putting in the work. But the why is what sparked the how, you know? and the why for me was at first, my wife, which was my girlfriend at the time, is that she never accepted me as that version. You know, she always
she saw you better than what you were.
Yeah, she saw me better than I was, and she never gave up on me. And then at a point when we had my first child, Haley, that's really what sparked the fire, you know. So
you mean that whenever you had your daughter,
that's right,
shit got real. Yeah. You had somebody to take care of more than yourself, more than your wife.
Because as a child, even I always fantasized about the father that I would be. You know, because growing up with a single mom, no dad, I always fantasized about, man, I'm going to be this type of father, and my kids are never going to see me on drugs and this and that. And so when I finally had my first child, Haley, that's when shit got real. And that's when I knew, like, no more fucking around. And I still backslid, you know. I still relapsed a few times.
Relapsed onto what?
Drugs.
What drugs?
Cocaine and pain pills.
See, I could never. I mean, I've done cocaine, but I could never get addicted to it. Why does somebody get addicted to cocaine? Like, how does that happen?
Man, you know, reflecting years later now, at the time, I didn't know why I was so obsessed with staying high. But now at 47 years old, I see that I was continuously trying to numb and block out the pain and the memories and thoughts and, you know.
And you think it did that? You think that cocaine did it? Because that's not – cocaine is a very aware drug. Like if you do cocaine, you're awake and wide aware of what's going on around you. It's not like it puts you to sleep or like numbs. They're like heightens everything.
Yeah, but for me, it kept me busy thinking about something else, you know, chasing it, you know, like figuring out where the next –
chasing that dragon,
That's
bro.
right.
Chasing the dragon of being high.
That's
and then
right.
it gets harder and harder to get high, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes more and more. You start doing more and more risky behaviors to get that thing, you know. So
you're doing all this. You're dealing drugs. You're doing drugs. You're with your woman now, 31 years now, since you were 15 years old. So then you get locked up. How does that work out, bro?
So at 16 years old, we had our own apartment. Karen and I were there. My uncle was there. We had a few friends over. We were drinking. It was New Year's Eve. And, you know, back then I thought I was a fucking thug, man. Like, now looking back I'm like, man, you were a fucking dumbass, you know? But, you know, I'm trying to be that guy and to everyone, you know, everyone else. But we're there, we're drinking.
You're trying to be like a street character.
That's right. Yep. And I had a gun. And that's the night that changed the trajectory of my life forever. It was a very, very, very unfortunate tragedy.
What happened?
I shot and killed a man.
Oh, bro! So you go to jail for murder.
Well, so when the night that it happened, I panicked and basically told everyone there, like, keep your mouth shut. And wiped the apartment down.
Whoa.
Left, and so for 2 years, the police thought it was a suicide.
So you shot him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you shot him in the head. Was he a friend of yours?
He was a neighbor.
He was a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
One shot.
Yeah.
And he dies, and you wiped it up. They considered it a suicide for 2 years. They opened the case again. They find some evidence or something, or they hear something. How did that work?
Yeah, they heard something. One of the people that were there that night was talking to her husband that was in prison, and then he sent a letter in to the state's attorney, like, "Hey, I've got some evidence, you know, or
and why would he be motivated to do that? Would that reduce his sentence?
He was trying to reduce his sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, bro.
Originally, I was charged with first-degree murder, and yeah, I mean that's the point where I thought my life was over.
Why wouldn't you think it was over? Yeah. First-degree murder. What does that come with? 20, 25
life.
sentence?
Yeah, life.
Well, depending on the state, right?
Florida. This was Florida. So
it would have been life, if not.
I mean, at the time, it was
death penalty, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you get Jesus. Okay, bro. And now you're a multimillionaire. You're on jets. You're hanging out with you're going to events with people like Gary Brecka, and you're on these podcasts, and you're living a life that's amazing, and you own all these businesses. And you know, dude, if there's one thing I'm so tired of is so many people thinking that they can't do it. Even people that don't come from your background. We're talking about people that have great parents. They were raised well.
Right.
They had everything that they ever could need to have a good launch pad to go succeed. And they find every single excuse, every freaking excuse in the world to not go do it. And you had every reason to go do it. And like I said, you're sitting here talking about Gary Brecka and his son, how you guys are meeting up, you know, tomorrow and going somewhere, and you know his family really well, and you know his son just did a 100-mile race, and you're all talking like, this is amazing, man. Like you're not on the street, and so you've not only been with the same woman since you were 15 years old. That's 31 years. You're 47 years now old, and you got charged with first-degree murder. You're a drug addict. You were born by a mother at 13 years old. You're now doing very, very well for yourself. And you're doing it off of healthy habits through nootropics, and you're distributing products across the country, if not the world. Are you guys just in the country or nation? No.
We're just in the
In the
U.S.
United
for
States?
now, but
Okay.
but we will be in other countries.
You're going to go international with your products.
Yeah.
So, bro, like, just take that in, dude. That's so crazy. Like, what do you think your emotional set point is on a day-to-day basis? Do you think that you're in gratitude? Do you think that
Oh,
you're
brother, from the moment I wake up until I fall asleep, there's not a day that goes by that I don't pinch, almost like pinch myself, like it, I'm so grateful to God and to my family, because without those two things, I would be dead or in prison. So
Wow.
just beating the charge and getting out was good enough. But then for God to have seen fit to bless me with the life that I have today is just unimaginable.
So I'm a minister. I own Misfit Ministries. I'm a former conventional minister, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But now I own Misfit Ministries, which means that I talk to the misfits of the world. And there's ministry for everybody, man. And what fundamental religion has wrong is that ministry is for the people who dress up nice on Sunday and they're trying to be perfect, so to speak, perfect the other days of the week, and they come and they listen to the same shit every Sunday. Those aren't my people.
Right.
I want to talk to the misfits, the people who didn't fit there, right?
That's right.
So when people say that God did it, I always say, are you sure? Are you kind of thinking that maybe like you did it? Like, does God really favor you among all those other people you were in prison with that much? Or did you figure out that you were tired of it and you wanted to meet a new version of you? Like, I'm not trying to tell anybody that their religious beliefs are wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm that important, dude. I don't think that God's going to be like, oh, well, I'll just give you this and give you that.
Yeah.
No, dude, I had to be down on my ass to figure out a way off of my ass. That's
Yeah.
what I had to do.
I always say that God can open the door, but you have to walk through it. So, like you were saying earlier, like everyone has all of the excuses. God has, again, in my mind, God has, these blessings available for everyone, but I had to man the fuck up, stop making excuses, and walk through the door that God opened. And so for me, I do believe that God spared my life and that he blessed me with the all these opportunities, Now, don't think for a minute that I wasn't sitting there doubting, or there's been plenty of times that I've been like, damn, man, if I invest this money, this is all we have, but I did. I took the chance.
You risked it on yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
And let's talk about that, because what a lot of people don't understand about entrepreneurs is that there is no guaranteed outcome.
That's right.
And what I find more often than not is that the people that had everything given to them, or at least they had everything that they could have needed to become successful, they're less likely to take the risks. Whereas a guy like you, you're like, dude, I got nothing to lose.
That's right.
Because I've lost everything already and I got everything to gain. And that mentality is what you can't teach.
Right.
You can't teach that.
Yeah, exactly. At a point, so when I really first started feeling success, or I guess, tasting a little bit of success, was like we had started a little vape shop selling nicotine vapes. And after like 2 years, and it grew and grew and grew, but no one opened up a vape shop to, everyone's seen how successful this thing was going for me, and they just, no one opened up another vape shop, and I always wondered, I'm like, man, why? This is easy. Like, literally, it's like you're going to either get up and go to work for someone else, or you're going to get up and do this thing for yourself. I didn't think it was hard. It was just work. And what I realized is that that anyone could do it. Anyone can do it, but they just don't want to take the risk. You know, like they don't want to break out of their comfort zone. They're, you know, afraid of failing, or, you know, they're afraid their husband or wife or dad will be disappointed if they, you know, I don't know. It's just like all the excuses.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they find more excuses not to do it than reasons to do it, for sure. But when you owned a vape shop, by the way, I mean, if anybody understands businesses, it's me. You know, I sell businesses, I evaluate businesses, I get people money to buy businesses and all that. If anybody understands business, it's me. And so as a vape shop, you couldn't have been making more than $150,000 a year. They just don't make a ton of money. But so you're thinking, well, wait a minute, this is all harmful things. This is nicotine and, you know, non-natural products. That's and all that. And so that was your angle. You're like, dude, let's make something healthy out of this.
Yeah. So, okay. So in 2012, we opened our first vape shop. We grew that to maybe 4 or 5. Now, today we have like 40 retail locations.
Well, there you go. Now you're making real money. But to own one vape shop, you're not going to make a bunch of money.
Yeah, exactly. And then in 2018, when the federal farm bill passed, we opened up hemp shops, and all of our products were health and wellness. There was nothing you could buy from us back then that would alter your mind. You know, there was nothing that you could get high from. Now, soon after, you know, that's Delta 8. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Delta 8
THC.
Oh yeah, I have heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hemp shops now have stuff that you can catch a buzz from, but
yeah, because I don't like weed really. It's not my thing.
Yeah, me either.
But I have heard of that.
Yeah,
Delta 8.
Yeah, I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. But we do have dispensaries and cannabis companies. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I forgot where we were going.
Well, what I was saying was, you're not going to make a lot of money with one vape shop.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So you thought about a new angle. You're like, okay, everybody's getting in the vape business. Everybody's getting in the smoke shop business, whatever, because of the marijuana move. Mm-hmm. And that market did get saturated. I mean, you know, you had a vape shop, you had a cannabis store, whatever. You know, especially in certain states like Colorado, it just got overran.
Everywhere.
I mean, literally, I was in Colorado, and like I said, I don't smoke weed, but I was in Colorado, and that was right whenever it was happening. Right, all the weed stores were opening. I was standing at one weed store because I was out there with my aunt, and she smokes like a chimney. And we're at one, and I'm literally looking across the street at another, and I looked right, and I saw another. There was 4 within walking distance.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, dude, this is out of control. So it was like a gold rush, man. Like whenever the weed thing happened, everybody went to the States and started selling it, only to be overran by endless competition.
That's right. Yep. And then it's like a race to the bottom, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're $5, I'm going to be $4, and then 3, and then 2, and then suddenly no one's really making money.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly how the vape and cannabis industry. You know, like for me, I've always had this insecurity that because I want to build generational stability. You know, like obviously
never heard it said that way. Generational wealth, maybe, but
right.
Generational stability. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, wealth's one thing, but you know, stability. You know, anyone can make money, but you know, like think about how many rich people that you know that their wife hates them, their kids.
You're talking about breaking generational trauma, breaking
exactly.
generational curses,
yeah,
generational poverty.
That's right.
The mindset that's handed down from one generation to the next that doesn't serve them.
That's right. You know, Saylor was always known for drugs and prison and violence and so. I always.
You mean sailor, like as in pirate?
Yeah, my last name Saylor.
Okay, so you mean your.
Yeah, my last name was always associated with bad, and so my goal was to change that. You know, like my kids are the first sailors that graduated high school. You know, my daughter has a college degree, never been addicted to drugs or you know like. So yeah, generational stability, like what a normal family feels like, you know, like that's been my goal.
So, bro, like, here's the deal, man. Like, as I sit here and I talk to you, and I have intuition. This is one thing that people don't know about me. I have massive intuition. Like, I can pick up on things that other people just can't seem to pick up on. And I play more stupid than I do smart. I mean, just as a general rule.
Right.
But as I sit here and I listen to you, dude, I mean, the fact is, man, you were born into a loveless life, and you were born into a fatherless life, and a father is critical to a home.
Yeah.
And when you're raised by a mother and she's emotional and she's a child herself and she's not loving you the way you should, you were emotionally neglected. You were financially neglected. And then in order to escape that, man, you tried to turn to things that would make you feel good. And what's wild about your story, bro, is not that you made it where you're at. That's wild enough. But the fact that you took all of the pain, not some of it, but all of the pain, and turned it into purpose.
Yeah.
And everywhere you turned, it was just like you wanted to go make some money. But then you're like, cool, I made some money. Let's make some more money. And then whenever you made more money, you started turning it into being more purposeful. Because now you're like, dude, let's make some things that actually help people.
That's right.
And here you are with this wife, which is wild. She's in the other room. I just met her. It's wild, bro. So I hate to keep going back to it, and it's going to be a little bit of a choppy episode. That's okay. But you're 15 years old, 16 years old. You're on drugs. You ended up shooting and killing a man. You lived 2 years probably with a lot of anxiety, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were worried, like looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, all day, every day.
Then maybe a little bit of sense of relief because now it's coming at you because you were tired of the anxiety of it, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, being charged with murder, it's like that's all you can think about,
Hell yeah.
You can't think about
Nothing else.
You wake up, if you even fall asleep, It's like being in that cell at night with no noise was like torture for me. At least during the day, there was commotion and arguments and this and that to keep my mind, looking and thinking about other shit. But at night, laying there in the silence was literally torture for me.
I have a saying, man. And people that are afraid of the silence need to keep the noise cranked up.
Yeah.
And you're afraid of the silence because you can't stand your own thoughts in the silence. Something's wrong inside.
That's right.
You're not aligned. You're not in tune. If you want to bring God into it, you're not connected to God. You're not connected to source.
Right.
Something's wrong. And so you can't stand the silence. And what you and I are talking about here, that's an extreme case of it, right? Because you're locked up in a cell and that silence is killing you. Right. But I see people that are our age, 46, 47 years old. I see 55, 60-year-old men and women that cannot stay home on a Thursday or a Friday night because they can't stand the silence. They got to keep the noise cranked up.
That's right.
They got to find a noisy room.
Yeah.
The same people that act like friends, but they're not friends. The same noisy club, the same stupid bar you go to on a regular basis because you can't sit with yourself.
That's right, yeah.
And so there you are in a cell, and you killed a man, and now you've been found out about it.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I went through all the emotions. Depression, guilt. Guilt was the biggest, guilt for the person's life that I took, his family, my family, I'm thinking about his mom, his dad, my grandma. I'm thinking about what this is going to do to her. I wasn't thinking about me spending the rest of my life in prison. I was thinking about what that would do to my family and what I was putting his family through by the accident that happened that tragic night.
Yeah. So how old was this guy?
He was probably 20.
So his life got cut short at 20 years old, and you're how old?
16.
You're 16 years old. You murdered him at 16. He's 20. And
I wouldn't say murdered. Murdered is intentional. This was an
okay.
accident.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you got arrested for murder.
Yeah,
is
I got
what
arrested.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you shot him. So tell us the rest of the story. Like, how was it not murder?
It was me playing around with a gun.
Oh.
And accidentally shooting him.
Dude, so this is crazy, right? So Jimmy, if you're watching, he probably will. Jimmy Standard, good friend of mine. This happened about 2 years ago in Overland Park, Kansas. Jimmy was hanging out at his place. Him and his buddy were just chilling. They had a few drinks or whatever, nothing crazy. Like literally watching TV, watching a ball game or something.
Right.
You know, Jimmy, his two dogs, and his buddy, who, by the way, highly trained soldier, you know, special ops soldier. Mm-hmm. He knows guns.
Right.
And they're sitting there, and he's just showing his buddy his gun, right? Like Jimmy was showing his buddy his gun. And it's a Hellcat gun. It's like holds 20 or something like that, 29 millimeter rounds. Uh-huh. But they're not the safest guns. I mean, they can fire, and you know they're ready to use. Okay, there's not a bunch of things stopping it to go.
Right.
And Jimmy's like 5 or 6 feet away from him, and the trigger gets pulled, and it blows a hole starting right here in his wrist, and blows out the other side, like right here in the thick part of his forearm, and he didn't bleed out, although he was bleeding out. Like came like 2 or 3 inches from his heart. Crazy, wild ass story. And Jimmy grabbed the gun and thought it was intentional, and like was like coming at him like, "Motherfucker, did you try to shoot me?" You know. But anyway, cops got called. Whatever, they come. Jimmy gets sent to the hospital. No nerve damage. No arteries blown, wow. No even major veins blown. It just hit the pure muscle of his forearm, but it could have ended his life. And so now they're still buddies. They still hang out, no big deal, which is wild, right? But in this case, you shot this guy on accident, and you didn't want to tell the truth.
Right. Yeah, I was afraid to face my consequences.
But there wouldn't have been consequences if you told the truth, right?
That's right. I mean, I think they would have looked at it as what it was, a 16-year-old that had no business with a fucking gun, had tragically accidentally fired a shot, and, you know, a guy paid the ultimate price, you know, with his life.
So 2 years later, they come back and they say, we heard from this guy that was trying to reduce his sentence that you actually shot him and it wasn't self-inflicted. So now you had to say, basically, yes, I did shoot him, but it was unintentional, but I hid it and covered up because I was scared. Is that right?
I mean, kind of. So they came, they charged me with murder because they thought it was intentional. It was intentional. After, you know, they talked to all the witnesses, and the two detectives got caught up in some shit outside of that case. They got caught up in some controversy about planting evidence, and so it made their case weaken against me, and you know they lost some evidence. They didn't want to drop the charges down. I think they were forced to because of lack of evidence.
Witnesses too, right? And
the witnesses, yeah. So ultimately they dropped my charges to first-degree manslaughter with a firearm. You know, let me rewind, because when I was charged with first-degree murder, I was in the cell dealing with the weight of the world, and I know it's cliche because everyone that goes to jail turns to God, but I did turn to God. I begged and pleaded and asked God if He would give me another chance, that I would turn my life around, and that I would spend the rest of my life telling people how great God is. And but so they dropped the charges. I was able to bond out because of the charges being dropped. I bonded out, proposed to Karen. We got married. I got a job.
Give me your age.
I proposed at 19. We got married in 1999. So I think we were 20 when we got married, but 20 when we got married.
Yeah, so but you shot him when you were 16 years old.
16, charged
and
at 18.
And then 2 years waits, right? Yeah. And then you get charged. You're in prison. You're in a jail cell.
Right.
You bond out within a year. You get engaged to the woman you're still with today.
Yeah.
How preposterous is that story? I mean, it's so crazy.
It is
like,
crazy.
there's not a single person that you or I know that have this story.
Nope, you're right.
And so what you're saying is that you're sitting in a cold jailed cell, sitting on a metal bed or the equivalent, and you have nobody else. You're like, God, do something for me.
Right.
And then you get out, but your wife, your woman, she's your steady, she your anchor,
Yes,
and she saw you better than what you saw yourself.
that's right.
And she knew that you didn't do this maliciously, and she
Right.
wanted to stand by your side.
Yes. And, taking it back to what you were saying earlier, I don't know if it sounds arrogant or cocky, but I do believe God chose me just for the exact thing that you just said. I have a story that no one else has. And if that story can be turned around into the success that it is today, my kids all work at my companies. My kids have their own companies. I'm still with the same woman for 31 years. Then I feel like that my story is going to inspire people to know, like, maybe it's not as bad as they think it is, Maybe there is hope.
Well, again, whenever I started off this episode, I didn't want to go into the how because we're too addicted to how did he do it?
Right.
Because right now there's 150 million people out there that are stuck in indecision and thinking that they need some magic answer to go become successful. So we're not going
Right.
to talk about the how, but you and I throughout this conversation, we keep coming up with more and more whys.
Right.
So you killed a man on accident, yet here comes another why. You're like, dude, that guy's life ended at 20 years old. Look what I did to his family. There's more whys.
That's right.
And
then
then,
I definitely owed it to them.
right. And so now on a daily basis, you're like, hey, maybe God did choose me. Maybe God spared me. So even more why. You wake up every single day trying to go show the world that you can redeem, right?
Yep.
You can do good. Your past does not dictate your future, right? And so somewhere along the way, man, you had to go from like a street criminal type guy, like a shady character, to embracing more of a healthy, divine, masculine role.
Right.
And that was right around the time that your child was born.
Yeah.
And would you say that was right around the time that you gave the gift of becoming a masculine man to the woman who's still with you?
Yes. So my daughter was born, and then about a year later, my son was born, or maybe I don't know, a little over a year. So we had those two kids, my two children, pretty close. And yeah, from that point on, it's been, and like I said, I still wasn't perfect. I still struggled. I still, relapsed and backslid. But the difference between me and, everyone else was that I didn't give up on myself, and I didn't give up on my family, because I owed it to them to be a great father, a great husband. And so, I would, if I relapsed, I would be depressed and think like, oh my God, I'm so stupid for effing up again, but then I'm right back at it. Like, okay, let's get back to work. Like, let's fix this.
Yeah. So in Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill claims that he had a conversation with the devil, and it was a very long conversation. And he brought this to his wife because he wrote a book about it, and she was like, oh, hell no, you're not putting that book out. You're not going to release this book because this is preposterous, number one, and it's going to ruin your name, and I don't want my name to be ruined by you putting out this preposterous conversation that you supposedly had with the devil.
Right.
So what we're going to do, she agreed that she would let the book be released, but it was like 50 years after their death or 25 years after their death, something like that.
Right.
So they put the book in a vault. And in that vault, it had instructions in their will, their trust, whatever it is, that the children could then release it if they so choose. And they did. And that book, Outwitting the Devil, came out. And it was eerily too true. Like you had to believe it, because when Napoleon Hill was alive and he wrote this book, the only way that you would read that book and realize that he's telling the truth is because everything he said way back then was happening today, and they weren't happening back then.
Oh, wow.
So it's like completely preposterous to think that this conversation happened. But in one of his lessons that he learned from the devil is that he used the word drift, and that was supposedly the word that the devil used, that if you drift, your life will turn to shit. And that's the plan. So drifting meaning not working.
That's right.
Being into drugs, chasing women.
That's right.
You know, being distracted, whatever it is, whatever drifting looks like, and everybody's got their own drifting, right?
Yeah.
But yours was drugs, and probably drugs.
Just drugs. Yeah. I mean, literally, it consumed me.
So for you not to drift meant that you needed to go work.
That's right.
And so when people look at what I've become from where I came from, I don't have as bad of a story as you do, but my story is not good at all, dude.
Right.
My mom was married 6-7 times before I was 15 years old, volatile, angry. I had a lot of men in and out of my life. Right. Like I said, it didn't bother me that bad because I'm not a female, so I kind of like some of the guys that she had around, I look back and I'm like, oh, I like some of those guys. But it was a rough go, dude. And my dad was an alcoholic. He was dead by the time he was 48, 49. My dad didn't have a license. My dad had 15, if not 16 DUIs before he died. So my life was not good by any means. I wasn't supposed to be where I'm at here today. Right. So you and I have similar stories. That's why I can understand where you've been. Yeah. But but people say, well, look what Chad's doing. And a lot of people are jealous. A lot of people, they don't know they're jealous, but they are. That's where their hate comes from. Right. And it's like, hey, man, you know what? All I did was work.
That's right.
And I didn't drift.
That's right.
So, like, when it comes time to choosing to drift, I go, no. I better keep my ass in work.
That's right.
Not that I have a drug problem. If anything, for me, my problem was women. Right. Like, I would just, like, one woman after the next, man. Right. Like, to an obnoxious level. Right. And so, like, if I don't drift and I stay focused, and I'm not drinking too much or chasing women too much or whatever, and I just work, all the drifting goes away.
Yeah, no, that's facts, man. Again, looking back, I see some of the major things that made this work. And one huge thing was not drifting and going out on the weekends, not hanging out with friends, always, even when I didn't want to, Sure, at 18 or 19, I'm sure there were times I wanted to go hang out with my friend or do this or do that. But like Karen and I have always stuck close to each other. And when we had kids, like those kids are like, those are my friends, like this is my family is what I want to be around. And we've been like that since the beginning. And I think that's been huge for my progress and success, is not going out, hanging out where, I have no business being at bars or.
That's right, drifting.
Yeah, drifting. Literally no business because.
Yeah, so that's what people say to me. They're like, because everybody knows that I work a lot, right? Yeah. And so I'll work 7 days a week. It doesn't bother me. Right. And also people don't understand that if you like what you do, you're really not working. Like I'm enjoying talking to you.
Yeah. It's literally like just having a good conversation.
Right. And so like I can't say that I've enjoyed writing all the books that I've written. Right. Because that's just hard to do. And I can't say that I've enjoyed every single thing about working. But I'll tell you this. That when people say, you work too much, why don't you just take it easy? Why don't you, whatever? I'm like, well, okay, so what am I going to do?
What's the alternative?
Right. So are you really knitting sweaters and reading books when you're not working?
No, when people are not working, they're miserable.
They're fucking off.
Yeah, they're miserable. They're like, I'm bored, or like it's like people look at work like it's a bad thing. It's purpose.
Dude, I'm working on Christmas, right? And people are like, why are you working on Christmas? Why are you... Dude, because I got things to do.
That's right.
And so, like, I can only sit on my nuts so long before I'm like, I can't, I don't enjoy this. No, I don't enjoy sitting here and doing nothing. Right. So at some point, you probably had to get there where, like, you relapsed And then you got down on yourself and you're like, I need to go focus.
That's right.
And so again, yet another why. This is why. See, we're not talking about the how.
Right.
We're talking about why you did it.
That's right.
And you stayed focused on your business and you built this nootropics company called Motion, Limitless Pouches.
Yeah, it's motionpouches.com.
Motionpouches.com.
Yeah.
And bro, what an incredible story. And listen, man, I'm a nobody, man. I'm just a guy who walks through life and does business and tries to help when I can. But dude, you have such a story, and you weren't given love, and you weren't given stability, and you weren't given any hope whatsoever. You were born with no cards in your deck that would be a winning hand.
Right.
And here you are where you're at, dude. It's an incredible story.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and so obviously the case ended up being dropped against you, like the murder case. You ended up getting a manslaughter, reduced sentence, right?
Yep.
And looking back, you should have told the truth, because the truth would have been a lot better.
That's right.
It was a messier cleanup now. So I assume going into more truth, more wise here, like you started telling the truth is my guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, now for me to lie or even steal a pack of gum, it's literally would be impossible. I can't force myself to do that, It takes time, like old habits are hard to break, but being consistent and just being true, every day, eventually you get to a point where you can't do wrong. You've built this into your it's your code now.
Yeah. So whenever I was younger, I was probably 16, 17 years old, and I was up in North Missouri, and I was hunting. I was hunting deer. And this older cowboy came up to me, and we were talking about some of his stuff, just the things that he had on his property. And he had this guy watching his house, and he said, that guy's a thief. And I said, why would you have him watching your house then? He said, the best person to guard your house is a thief. And it took me probably 20 years to realize what he meant. And what he meant was, he used to be a thief. He could never bring himself to do it now.
Oh, wow.
And that was his point. But that's how cowboys talk. They talk in cryptic form, but that's what you're talking about. And you could never bring yourself to become a liar anymore. You have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And at some point in a man's life, whenever he's gone through enough, like you have, if you say a lie, it hurts you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it does.
Yeah. No,
and
sure.
I'll tell the truth, and people don't like me telling the truth, and I'll say some shit that they don't like.
Right.
But I like saying that a hell of a lot more than how it makes me feel to say a lie.
Yeah, exactly. It's also so much better for you to not fucking sugarcoat shit or not hold shit back.
Right.
Like if you have something that's bothering you about this relationship or this person or something that this person's doing that's really bogging you down, and you don't say something, you're holding those emotions.
Well, dude, let's just call the elephant in the room right now. If you would have told the cops, hey, I'm 16, I fucked up, I pulled the trigger, I didn't mean to, I swear I didn't mean to kill this guy, you would have never gone through any pain. Look what trying to sugarcoat that looked like.
No, for sure.
And so that's an extreme case, right? But people go through life and they try to avoid the truth, because if you say the truth, it's going to hurt somebody's feelings.
That's right.
Or it's going to rock the boat. And I say the truth. I say the hard thing now.
Right.
And get through it, man. Let's just do it now. Yeah. Let's have this argument.
That's right.
Let's have this fight. Get it over with, because we don't want to be dragging this shit around with us.
That's right.
And so yours was an extreme case, but this happens daily, bro.
Yeah.
Between man, woman, children,
That's right.
bosses, employees, everywhere. People are avoiding all the problems.
That's right. Yeah.
And avoidance leads to disaster. And now where you're at now with your company. You're flying around in jets. You're hanging out with damn near A celebrity people. You've been very successful with your business. Now that telling the truth is a necessary ingredient to get there.
That's right. I think just being sincere, being honest, being loyal, these are all words that I feel like don't have a lot of meaning to people these days because they're thrown around so much. But when you really meet someone that has those characteristics, you're like, you gravitate towards that person. And being around these high level people and influential people, I see so many people trying to be kiss asses, or you can just, real recognizes real.
Right.
So you can tell when somebody is being fake.
100%.
But when you're just yourself, but you're true, you're loyal, you're trustworthy, you're a good friend, you don't lie, you don't hide your past. I just feel like people appreciate that so much more than telling them what they want to hear, or
Yeah, so authenticity is the highest vibration.
Yeah.
They say that love is, but love is actually not. It's authenticity. Love's close, but the highest vibration there is authenticity. So if you can just be real, be yourself, unapologetically so, really, and then what's going to happen is you're going to run into more people that recognize it, and you're going to create your tribe.
That's right.
Like, tribe. Like, you're never going to have people around you that care about you, that you'll call your tribe, your people, if you're not showing up as to who you are.
That's right.
If you're not showing me who you are, I don't know where to place you, dude.
That's right, yeah.
And you're going to live a lonely life because you're not telling me who you are. And then I don't really know who you are, so I put you kind of in the junk drawer.
Right.
I don't know what drawer you're in, bro.
Yeah.
Are you this close to me? Are you that close to me? Are you in my inner circle? Are you somebody I can trust with? Are you do business with? Are you somebody that I can count on? Are you going to be honest with me with all things?
That's right, yeah.
And so people talk about integrity, and they talk about courage, and they talk about authenticity, and they talk about forgiveness, and but it's all conceptual.
Right.
So until you're living it and you've integrated those emotions and you're not living it, you don't know about it. You're just talking about it.
Right.
And so
I spent a lot of years talking about it.
Well, right, but you went through the pain.
Right.
And the pain made you face it.
Right. I used to say the words, when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, because those were like street words, like loyal and this and that. And I said them so much, but I knew that I wasn't those things. But I aspired to be, and I put work into being those things. And now today, I'm like, damn, it paid off. Like, I am that person today. That's why. Now I'm not always the most pleasant person to be around, because I'm in full work mode all the time. So I've got a lot of shit on my mind, Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I might come off brisk to some people sometimes, or just right to the point, like,
Dude,
like,
why not get to the point?
That's
What other place is there to be other than the point?
That's right.
Like, I like people who know where they're going, who will shoot me straight, and they're not dancing around. Like, if it takes you an hour to tell me something, I know you could have said it in 30 seconds. Why are you filling this up with a bunch of bullshit?
Exactly. I stopped listening 30 seconds ago.
Exactly. Yeah, tell me what it is. Let's go. Right. Let's keep it moving. I got things to do.
That's right. If you have to over-explain, then you're trying to manipulate.
Absolutely.
People that speak the truth speak in short sentences usually.
Absolutely.
They're not like, man, I was thinking about you today, so I wanted to just call and check on you. This isn't a business call. I'm checking on you. I want to know how are you feeling, man? Are you, I know
and bro,
probably...
here's the reality of the dude about that. Like, the reality is that if you don't have eyes and ears to hear that shit and to see it,
yeah, then
you'll be manipulated by
for
it.
Sure. The minute I hear that, I feel like, ugh, like, it gives me this feeling of like, because I know it's not sincere,
Yeah, so people that have not gone through enough pain have not gotten locked in to having eyes and ears yet. And unfortunately, that's just how it goes. And so, like, every parent that has a child and the child drifts, runs off, does stupid things, rebels, whatever else, the biggest frustration of parents is, I want to help that kid. I want to talk to that kid. I want to affect change in that child's life. But you can't. And pain is the greatest teacher of all.
That's right, man.
And so unless you've gone through the pain, you're not going to develop ears. You're not going to develop eyesight. And then, like I said, you would be easily manipulated by somebody presenting to you that they care about you.
That's right.
Presenting to you that they're just checking up on you when they have ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And so when you have eyes and ears and other people don't, you're going to appear rude to those who don't yet have eyes and ears.
Right.
But to those that have eyes and ears, you're not going to be considered rude.
Right. Do people randomly call just to check on people?
Hell no.
Right.
Unless they're a real deal, true blue friend.
Right.
And those are rare.
Very rare.
You know, like if Jesus had 12 disciples and only one was at his graveside, what does that tell you?
That's right.
If Jesus had 12 and two of them completely sold him out, one, Judas, sold Jesus out for like $150 of today's equivalent of silver.
Silver, yeah. A bag of silver.
like sold him out for a bag of silver.
And these are people that watched him perform. They knew, you know, like, but that's how quick you can, you know, be switched up.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just saying that I would rather you just be honest and call and say, hey, this is a business call, you know, and just boom, that's easier for me, you know.
Yeah, hey, this is a business call. I don't want to waste your time. Maybe this works for you. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, hey, can you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, because this I'm curious about this.
Okay.
How many people, when you were 16, do you still now have in your life?
Outside of family?
No, everybody included. Like, how many people, when you were 16 years old, are still in your life today that were in your life at 16? Two people.
Yeah.
And
my wife.
Of course.
And my mom.
Your mom. Yeah. Mom's still alive.
She works for me, yes.
Okay, that is so incredible, bro. What a crazy story. Bro, so how old's your mom now?
She's
70.
14 years older than me. So
so not 70, like 58?
60, maybe 60. Yeah, I think she's 60.
She's 60. Okay.
Yeah.
So your mom's 60 years old.
Yeah,
you're
60,
47.
61.
What the hell am I doing? My math was
We're
screwed up.
literally so close in age that it doesn't make sense, you know?
Wow. So you employ your mom who had you when she was 13. Again, 13. I said we're not going to do this podcast on the how, right? Like, what's the whys? And so now you got another why, man.
Brother, I always dreamt. You know, I even at 13, 14, 15, I would, like when at 15, 16, 17, I would lay at night and tell my wife, which was my girlfriend back then, I would fantasize about life. And I would be like, man, something doesn't feel right living like this. Like, one day I'm going to be rich and we're going to be able to buy everybody a house and a piece of land. And, you know, I would fantasize about all these things. And today my mom works for me. My kids work at the company and have their own companies. My kids literally have helped me build several of these companies, you know. And my uncle worked for me. Literally anybody in my cousin's about to move here. So it's like anybody in my family that, and when they, you know, if somebody wants an opportunity, instead of asking, I mean, you know, sometimes people do ask for money, but instead of handing them money, I'm going to hand them an opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Give somebody a fishing pole, not a fish.
That's right. I'm going to say, look, I'll give you a job, or, hey, look, I'll invest in your business idea. Like, talk about it. What is it? What do you want to do? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I just invested in my brother and his wife's dreams of owning a salon suite where they have, it's about a 3,000 square foot place in a plaza, but then they've built out
individual rooms for different services.
Crushed it. I mean, bro,
totally.
My brother and his wife, they did most of the work themselves. I mean, they hired contractors for like the concrete and electrical, but they got in there and laid the tiles, and it's the best salon suite that I've seen. It's next level type shit.
So check this out. So you're seen that way now. Okay, so you're seen as a guy. I mean, I saw your video, man. You're walking off of a jet in Las Vegas, and you're talking about your company. You're talking about success and all that. You're seen this way now. So the reason I asked you at 16 years old, how many people you have in your life compared to when you were 16, and you said your wife and your mom. Well, the fact is, man, that none of those people could see you the way you are right now. And that's their problem, not yours.
That's right.
Right? Like you're not responsible for the old version of you that they still need in their own mind of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So you're like, dude, I'm not that guy at 16 years old who you think
Yeah.
you know, dude. I'm 47 years old now. You know how much can happen in 31 years?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that guy. And you know what's weird about people, dude, is they'll always come back to that. Like, do you remember this one time when you were 16, you did this, you did that?
I don't.
I don't remember it, number one, and I don't know why it's relevant.
That's
other
right.
than you have a hard time associating me
Right.
with anything other than that.
That's right.
And you want to live in the past.
Yeah.
And so for me, whether it's family, friends, whatever, I'm not responsible for the version of you, or I'm sorry, the version of me that exists in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
No, that's great. I avoid, and it doesn't happen all the time, but like in the past 5 or 6 years, maybe like 1 or 2 people have reached out on social media like, hey, I'd love to come catch up. And for me, it's like we have nothing in common because we were 16 and 17 and the life we were living then, and you may have changed and you might be doing great, but it'd be like me meeting you for the first time.
Yeah,
because
there's
I'm
no reason to
so
do it.
different today than I was back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no reason. There's no real emotional reason to engage.
That's right.
And so they want to for some reason, but you're busy.
Yeah,
You're not going to drift. You know who your people are, right?
that's right.
Your people are your wife, your mom, which is wild. They're working with you, your kids, your business partners, the people that are in business that know, like, and trust you, people that
right.
love you, people that respect you.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I almost have, not really, but damn near close, I almost have the rule of no new friends.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I agree, man.
I've got my people, man.
Right.
People that know me, like me, love me, trust me. Like, people think awful things about me, like, oh, why'd you say this and why'd you say that? Because I wanted to say it.
Right.
Kiss my ass.
Right.
And I got the people that know, like, and trust me and love me.
That's right.
I almost had the philosophy of no new friends.
Yeah.
Unless I can meet them and have like a super authentic conversation like you and I are having.
Right.
Unless I can have like a super meaningful, deep conversation where you're going to be straight with me.
Right.
And then maybe if we can do business, great. If not, if we can be great allies in this life, great.
Right.
But man, I know who my closest are.
Right.
I bet you do too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. For me, it's like I wouldn't make a really good friend if we're just being friends because I don't socialize. I don't go out. I'm always with my family. I'm never, ever going to be without my wife. So there's really not much. I'm not saying me and you. I'm saying in general, like to get a new friend. So now, if we want to start a business together and then be business partners and friends, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
But to call yourself a friend, that means like no, we actually hang out and we talk and we. Outside of business, and I just wouldn't make a really good friend.
Yeah, so for me, it doesn't have to be money necessarily, but there has to be more purpose in the friendship. Like, I do want to go make money with people because that's the easiest way for us to really go help one another out and to see like a tangible result. I love it.
Right.
But if it's not that, I have to have some purpose or some real love in this friendship in order to maintain it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's either love or money. That
Yeah.
that has to be the two purposes.
Right.
And if you don't fall in those two categories, probably not going to be friends with
Yeah,
you.
probably not going to work out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't say unfortunately, but I think from the way other people view life, they always expect me to have hobbies, or I think I don't know. Do people have hobbies? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what? I hear Rogan. He's doing his podcast, and then he's doing the bow and arrow, and then he's doing this. I'm like, dude, that sounds so fucking fun. But that means I would have to stop working for 4 hours. And
Well, the difference is that he has fuck you money.
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the difference.
That's
and
the
so
difference.
he can shoot. Now, I've made damn good money in my life, but Rogan has fuck you money.
Rogan has fuck you money. I'll have that one day, but
he can literally say, I'm not going to podcast for the next year.
yeah.
And he can just let his episodes slowly come out.
Right.
And nobody would really know that he's gone.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So he can go fuck off for 2 weeks. He's got, 30, 40 episodes in the can being edited.
Right.
So he'll go fuck off for 2 weeks and go, shoot bows and go do whatever. And then it's like he never left.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a life he's
exactly.
created.
Yeah. it's not time for me to have hobbies yet.
Yeah, right. So I had hobbies when I was younger, but I wasn't making as much money because I had the hobbies.
Yeah. Like now I'm focused on growth and affecting other people's lives in a positive way. You know, like this nootropic is a small part of that. I'm launching an all natural, chemical free skincare line really soon, because like I went through this whole health thing. I went to all the doctors; they couldn't help me. I went and met Gary.
Gary Brecka.
Mm-hmm. He changed my life. He put me on this protocol, and
the superhuman protocol.
Yep.
So red light therapy, cold plunge, which I hate the cold plunge.
All the supplements, the methylated.
Yep, methylated vitamins. Yep.
And when I realized that the food I was putting in my body was causing me to feel this way,
and it wasn't converting.
Yeah,
it wasn't converting to nutrition.
That's right. When I realized that it is so important, the food you put in and what you put on your skin, and then I had grandkids, and me thinking about putting a hazardous chemical on their skin literally drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing it. So we started playing around with different recipes and ingredients, and so now we're launching an all natural chemical free skincare brand that's going to have body butters and sunscreen and deodorant and all the stuff that and that way people aren't poisoning themselves,
Yeah, well, that's you're in a good time for that. RFK and the whole movement, Make America Healthy Again. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about Johnson & Johnson paying out millions, if not billions of dollars because there's been poison in most of the baby products.
Yeah, and they've known it.
When you look at the dyes that we have in our cereals, and you go to Europe and the same cereal doesn't have that dye, something's up. When you look at skin cancer rates right around the time that
the sunscreen
came out. You can put two and two together.
Yeah.
So you're probably at a good time frame to bring that to the market. Well, bro, listen, this has been such an incredible conversation that I've had with you.
Yeah, I agree, man. I appreciate it.
And dude, so I want people to, let's say it again. How can they get a hold of you again?
So they can look me up on any social media platform at David Lee Saylor, and then if you want to check out Motion Pouches, go to motionpouches.com. I'm probably looking at the wrong camera here, but yeah, just go to motionpouches.com and you'll see the pouches, and we also have a capsule.
All right, thanks for being here, man.
Brother, much I appreciate you having me, and really enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely. So guys, listen to me. Here, okay? Motion limitless pouches. You see guys walking around with a ring in their back pocket. Used to be Skull, Kodiak, whatever. People have moved on to the Zen packages, the Zen packs. In fact, a lot of my good friends use Zen packs. And I'm not into the nicotine, the caffeine, and all that. But if you are, guys, this is full of healthy ingredients. Methylated vitamins are more bioavailable to you, and you can use the B12 more efficiently if you eat a certain type of B12. You're going to have more energy and naturally occurring ingredients. So, guys, quit poisoning yourself. Check this guy out. Get these Motion Limitless pouches. Look up David Lee Saylor, guys. This is a guy who has a story that you're never going to hear anywhere else. I guarantee it. Nobody had a mother that gave birth to him at 13 years old, went to prison for what was at least said to be murder. Later, it turned out it wasn't. Been to prison, incarcerated, addiction, no love, no resources, no support, no male figure in his life. And he decided, and that's what it is, guys. It's a decision. He decided not to be a victim to his own past and to his circumstances, and you can too. But here's the deal. You got to decide. You got to have a why. It's not about the how. So, guys, if you want to follow this man, please find him online, David Lee Saylor, and check out these Motion Limitless pouches and pay attention to this man because he may have been chosen by God, because nobody goes through that story without being chosen. See you on the next show.